welcome to the first episode of the Arc Hour podcast. I'm Victor Arcadia, and my co-hosts RSS Trace and Daniel Hirohito. And today we'll be talking about what games got us into gaming. I'll start. My first game was Pokemon. I remember playing it back in 1998 on the Game Boy. I was 7 years old. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it other than that it was a really good game.
Well, like,
I
what
don't
was your
know.
first starter?
Oh, my first starter. That's a good question. Well, my first starter was actually Squirtle. And I don't know, something about Squirtle just it drew me in. I liked its design, and it was always cool looking to me. A water type. Yeah. I remember battling Gary back in the Pokemon lab or whatever.
Gary the asshole.
Pretty much. He was tough, at first. But yeah, I remember going into not Viridian City, what is it, Route 1, and looking at the Pokemon. At first I was kind of like, well, I always thought Rattata was an really ugly Pokemon, so I never really bothered to, raise it. So I would always, whenever I saw it, I'd always kill it or make it faint. I don't know why, but I always thought, I would always say killing a Pokemon instead of, fainting them, but...
Kill it with water.
Pretty much, kill it, I'm just baptizing it with freedom, that's all. No, I mean, I caught a Pidgey, after, getting the parcels or whatever for Professor Oak. It's been so long since I've played it, but, I remember, it just gave me a lot of good memories. Getting to the first gym and everything was pretty crazy, fighting Brock. And I just remember, the show, and I always thought, like, if I defeated Brock a certain way, maybe he'd tag along or whatever, but, the game isn't really like the show or whatever, but I like the sprites, and I like the little objectives, getting all the badges and collecting all the Pokemon and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, man. Shit, what can I say? I started off with Pokemon as well. Back in '98, I was like 5 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, you got that big imagination where you want to compare one thing to another, like, the Pokemon game itself and the anime. And I had blue version at the time. My older brother, he bought it for me, and
Yeah.
he had his Game Boy, and I had my Game Boy Pocket that he passed down to me. So we would play it, and I had picked Charmander as my starter.
Mm-hmm.
I was into fire types, and also my favorite color being red. Unfortunately, I didn't get a red version until 2004, when I finally got Fire Red.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good, interesting experience as a kid playing.
It was pretty challenging. It was pretty challenging back in the day, battling, Misty and definitely Lieutenant Surge. He was, for me, anyways, he was pretty tough. I forgot to mention my first Pokemon game was actually Red version. Now that I think about it,
Mm-hmm.
I had, my mother had gotten it for me when I came back to the States. She gave me, a yellow Game Boy Color. So it was pretty cool, having a yellow Game Boy kind of reminded me of Pikachu or whatever. But honestly,
kind of like the pink Pokedex, huh?
I would say a Pikachu, but it was crazy, man. I don't really remember all my Pokemon, but I remember the whole SS Anne and trying to go back and everything, and I couldn't go back. That kind of bummed me out, but because I heard people talk about later on that you could catch a supposed Mew in the game, but Yeah, it turns out that you can unless you hack it or you do glitches or whatever. But I like Team Rocket a lot. I like the Giovanni. Something about him always kind of drew me to him. His design and kind of like how he's a mob boss or whatever.
'Cause he's a bad guy.
He is a bad guy. I remember my first legendary was Zapdos. God, I love that thing. It was like impossible to catch with a Pokeball because if I remember correctly, it said something about like it's too big to catch with a Pokeball, so you had to use like an Ultra Ball or something.
Wait,
But
it said that?
yeah, it said that. You don't remember that?
Honestly, not really. I don't even think I don't even remember my first legendary though. I don't think it was Zapdos, but I don't remember that happening. So I must have not have caught it.
I
Daniel,
might
what was your
remember.
first Pokemon game?
Uh, well, honestly, I don't really know. I mean, because it seemed that Mario and Pokemon kind of coalesce within the same time period, so it's kind of hard to differentiate between which came first. But I can talk about Pokemon right now since we're on the subject. But I honestly, it's been so long. But I know I think I had blue version, but I also remember having yellow version too.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the yellow version because Pikachu follows you around. I like that mechanic. Though some people might disagree about that, but I like the whole following you around thing. But of course, it was only Pikachu at the time.
Mhm.
But I remember, I don't know. I just like Pikachu, and you can talk to it, and it can see how happy it was, and it feels like because first it didn't like you because like how it was in the anime, so you had it has to warm up to you,
Mm-hmm.
and it showed a little picture, be like smiling or something. uh, yeah, I remember that. No, I'm not really sure, like I don't even know where that thing went. It's been so long. Like if I could like go back in time and like tell myself like to hold on to it, I would, but I can't. I mean, it's been like like a lot of memories in that game.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was a good game. Pokemon, the first generation was pretty good. I mean, I think it's because we all look at it with like nostalgia. But
Hmm.
I mean, if you were to play it now, you'd kind of be like, what the heck, as
Hmm.
it's not as great as it used to be in our childhood and everything. But
Yeah, but at its
because
time, it was the
there is a lot
best.
of. You said what?
At its time, it was real good. It was
Oh,
pioneering. Yeah, it was a
oh,
pioneer at the time.
yeah, definitely.
Catching and
It,
whatnot.
it's crazy how far Pokemon's gone. From back then to now. It's still very popular. It's still making a lot of money. I
Yeah.
think that Nintendo definitely did make a good choice in uh, getting Game Freak to make that game. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought the 2D like monochrome sprites would become full 3D models?
Oh
Like
yeah,
something
definitely.
back then that wasn't even conceivable back then. Like, let alone since we're kids, we just know the current time. We didn't think about the future of Pokemon. We just like every iteration. We just like, oh, Pokemon, I'm gonna get it. And then it go as it gets more and more advanced. And we grow up, of course, and we still play them. I mean, I guess Pokemon is just that good, or it's just really addictive. But it's made like lots of improvements, leaps and bounds, and it's amazing to think that how far it's come from being just like an idea in someone's head to like one of the most defining games of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, even as a kid, I remember when Ruby and Sapphire came out. I had that thing in my mind that would tell me like, man, like this could be the final Pokemon game, because Yeah, the, at the time, the new Pokemon that were coming out, I was like, damn, like, I don't know, they seemed a bit weird. I mean, come on, Skitty looks like a Chinese cat with its eyes.
Racist, but
Hariyama looks like a damn sumo. um,
Yeah.
you know, I, I don't know, man. I just thought it was weird, but now that more Pokemon have been coming out, I look back and I'm like, shit. If I thought those were worse, I mean, look at Generation 6. We have
Yeah.
Barbarnacle or whatever his name is.
Or Barbicle or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right. Him and some other weird ones. I don't know if you guys know any.
Hmm.
I know there's more, but
Yeah, yeah, but Pokemon, back then it was pretty good. I mean, for its for its limitations, it was still a really good game. I'll be honest with you that I know this will come out this will come out kind of weird, but to be honest, that game actually helped me, develop reading a lot faster than school did. To be honest with you, it taught me how to pronounce and read a lot faster and better. I don't know why, but Pokemon was just one of those games that it's hard to let go. I mean,
yeah.
I'm here still. I've played every version of Pokemon on the handheld since the very beginning. I've had red, I've had blue, I've had yellow, et cetera, et cetera. But they always seem to get better and much more. The story ends up, the story gets
More
better
creative.
each iteration of the game. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, more
Exactly.
mature too. As seen with
Yeah.
Generations 5 and 6.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I feel like it's catered to a younger audience, but at the same time, it still has that level of maturity, because of the old. How do I say?
Because they know we grew up with it, so they don't.
Yeah.
They know Of course, obviously, don't know us personally, but they know that we were the kids that used to play their games.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But let's not drag this on a little. Let's not drag this on too much. So, Trace, what was your first game that you played?
Well, yeah, pretty much it was Pokemon, dude. But besides Pokemon, I remember playing Duck Hunt. These kid neighbors who I had, they had the game Duck Hunt, and I think I was like 8 years old or 7. No, I'm not sure. No, I don't remember, man. But they had bought that cheap what's it called? It's like those Chinese made game consoles that are like, you obviously know they're fake, but they contain a lot of games.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to see those at the flea market. They had like
Exactly.
50 games, right? They
Right.
had like 50 games. They were like a bootleg NES, right?
Exactly. Yeah, like a bootleg NES, and they had a whole bunch of games. And I remember I saw the gun right there, for the device, and I was like, what is that for? You get to shoot things. Like, damn, that's pretty. As a kid, I was like, damn, let's play it, let's play it. And then they're like, yeah, well, it's called Duck Hunt. And I'm like, okay, let's try it. And then we just started, we connected it, turned on the TV, popped well, I don't know, I don't know if it was a cassette, I can't remember.
It
think
was
it
a
just boots
cassette.
up.
This is like back then. It was a cassette.
Mm,
Right.
yeah,
So
but,
kids won't know what a cassette is nowadays.
yeah, well,
Oh,
we just popped
yeah.
it up and we just started playing, and I always got mad when that stupid dog would just grab the duck and he'd laugh.
You laugh
Yeah,
at.
yeah. With his big old teeth or whatever. I don't really remember myself playing it, but I do remember the Zapper though. That was a pretty cool little
Yeah.
device for the NES.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think my sister had one too. What wasn't it? Was it the Sega Genesis or something?
No, it was the Nintendo
No, well, I don't know, because I remember it was like, well, of course it was boxy, but I remember it had like a little, like, I guess like a tab where it just like flips open.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
it was
it's
Nintendo. The
yeah, I
NES
mean,
Yeah,
Zapper,
yeah.
NES Zapper.
or something like that. I don't. It's been too long, so my memory's like probably like making stuff up. But I can't. I remember some kind of system. It was like gray. That's all I can remember. But I know my sister had Duck Hunt, and me and my brother we used to play it. I don't think I was that good at it, because I mean, I would not really wasn't even really used to shooting a gun, because I wasn't really didn't really understand the concept of, because I guess like the cursor on the screen, I didn't really know that it
It
was
wasn't
coming
that
from.
accurate.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I lied. My first game ever that I've ever played was on the Game Gear. You remember the Game Gear, from Sega?
Was it a handheld?
Yes, dude. It was like a fat,
Whoa.
like the Wii U. The Wii U's
It was like a pad. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the tablet.
I think I
The
remember
fat
that. Yeah,
one
yeah,
where you gotta
yeah.
put them fat ass batteries in the back, like 8 of them or something.
What?
Right.
What D batteries?
Yeah, they
Eight
had
eight
they
D batteries?
I believe it was 8 or 6. I could be wrong.
That is
yeah,
that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it came out
yeah.
in 1990 or 1991 actually.
God, I don't even remember the last time I seen a D battery.
I don't think they exist anymore.
No, they do, but it's just so huge. I've never seen them. Saw AAA, AA, and that's pretty much it. And remember
Is there a
those
single
square
A?
batteries too?
Wait, are there single A's?
I think
I
so.
don't think so.
Sure.
That's weird.
I remember they had
Um,
like little square rectangular batteries too.
oh my god, I remember that. I used to lick the batteries. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
why.
I did too. I didn't want to be the first one to say it, but yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I did too, just for curiosity. Like,
I mean, I didn't even know. Like, is it a shock or is it just a taste? Or
I did it for the taste. I don't know.
I did
know
too,
that
but I don't know. I don't
ass-
know if it was a shock that tasted like that, or if it was like the metal or whatever.
It might have been the shock if you put your tongue on both. If you put your tongue on both the positive and the negative.
Yeah, I think I used to put in the one with the hole in it. I don't know which one.
A sexual innuendo, anybody?
Mhm.
Okay, but yeah, I also remember Duck Hunt. It was annoying. I'll say that much, man. That game was pretty annoying to me. I never really bothered to play it myself, but yeah. What game did you play for the Game Gear?
it was actually
RSS
Sonic.
Trade?
It was Sonic, and other than that, I think if I remember correctly, they had a Jurassic Park cassette for it back in the day. This was like fucking 90, 95. I'm not even gonna lie, man. 96, 95, 96, 97. So I was like, what, 4 years old, or 3, 4, or 5, around there.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember playing when I was like 3 years old, man. My memory's starting to come back, and yeah, around there. But yeah, it was Sonic, and God, the screen was horrible. The screen was horrible.
Right, right, right. I see. Well, yeah. I never really played Sonic. I didn't really care for it. What about you, Daniel?
Man, it was kind of mad for me, but I didn't have that Game Gear thing. I don't know. I don't even think I really even. I don't know. I don't think I even think I had it. So
I
I
don't think
probably
none of
didn't
you
even know
guys
it
touched
existed.
it.
No,
Huh?
the only one I had was the Lynx. I think it was called Lynx. It was kind of like that too. It was like I think it was in competition with Game Boy at the time. I'm not really sure, but I did have a different handheld, but I never really could play it. The only game I could play for like maybe 5 minutes was like I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. I think it was called like Paperboy or something. Paperboy. I don't know. Like the objective is, obviously deliver papers on your route, but it was an interesting game, to say the least. But Yeah, I didn't really have a Game Gear, but I had a Lynx or Linux. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah. Well, Daniel, what was your first game?
Uh, well, like I was saying earlier, it was either Mario or Pokemon, because they've been like they were pretty much like there at the same time. So I honestly can't really say which was the first one. But
Mhm.
I mean, since we already talked about Pokemon, I'll talk about Mario. I think also my sister also introduced me to that because she had one of the I think it was Super Mario Land or something, where you can walk around in the map between worlds.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was one that had like the little dancing hills. I especially remember that 'cause I used to dance to it because I liked the song. I used
Dancing
to like
Hills.
you know
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
bob up and down like the hills, like left and right. Like oh, I like this song. But it was that one. I
Wait,
remember
how did
playing
it
like
go?
huh?
How did the song go?
When
I'm
like
trying to.
Yeah, I remember that
Oh,
tune.
that
yeah.
was Super Mario 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was three.
Oh, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah, the hills had faces, you know.
Oh
If you
yeah.
remember.
Hills have eyes.
Yeah. But
Irony.
I like that. I mean, I don't think I was that good at it because I used to watch my sister play. She was good at it because you know she had the game and it was her. She played it a lot. But I used to
Yeah.
watch her like I honestly don't remember like I know I used to like play it like if she like went out of the room to like to went to go to like the bathroom or like get something from the kitchen or whatever, or just move around because I didn't really know what to do, because I it was what system was it? It was you remember that one system with the square controllers, the rectangular ones?
I think that was the NES.
Oh yeah, I think yeah NES, yeah that one. It was on that since I remember those controllers.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I mean I played it, but I wasn't very good at it because I didn't understand the whole concept that you have to jump on the enemies to kill them. Um, I mean, I did watch it and I played it for a little while. Then, you know, years got on. And I started liking Mario, so I was like, oh, you know, get more Mario games. So, I mean, even still get them to this day. I mean, they're still fun. Yeah, I mean, like lots of advancements with really any of the games that we were talking about. Because, you know,
yeah.
obviously technological advances, in really recent years. I mean, from like human technology is just advancing at a really fast rate, and to be honest, I don't even think that it would if we hadn't advanced it wouldn't be games wouldn't be so you know realistic looking, and really this like it hasn't even in the grander scheme of things it hasn't been a very long time really, because video games were really just I don't know. I mean, of course, there are video games before we were born, but this was like I guess the era where we were kids. Video games just started like I guess flourishing a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I mean, even now, like video games are getting more realistic, and
Mm,
you know, like video game characters are more human and more. You know, obviously they're not real, but people can connect with them more.
right, right. That's true.
Um,
We got 40 seconds left, guys. 40 seconds.
Yeah, I
Wow.
just feel that it's just been like crazy how much video games have improved, and you know people buying and playing them, and they're just only going to improve more.
Yeah, true. Well, I believe you guys have heard our, our answers already. You know, Vic, Phantoms, um, myself, and Daniel. So, anything else you want to add, Vic, Phantoms?
Well, let's just go with Victor. No, I don't. There. honestly, there isn't that much to say, but other than
20 seconds.
thank you for listening to the podcast. Hopefully you guys liked it, and if you do, give us a like or whatever. I also like to thank Daniel and Alberto for helping me with this with the Arc Hour. But like I said though, if you like the podcast, give us a like and spread us out there. Well, anyways, thanks. This is Victor Arcadia signing out. Hey, this is Victor Arcadia.
And Daniel Hirohito.
If you liked our podcast, subscribe.
And hit that like button.
If you have any questions or comments you want to ask, we can put them on the podcast and answer them for
We
you.
can give you a shout out.
We'll give you a shout out, and we might actually be talking about a certain game next episode with a certain someone. But anyways, this wraps up the podcast, so Victor signing out.
Daniel signing out.
Peace.